All right, let's set the scene. It's August 31st, 2014. Jennifer Lawrence's phone is just blowing up with hundreds of missed calls. Her agent's on her voicemail basically screaming, "Whatever you do, don't go online." Of course, it was already too late. She goes on Twitter, and there it is. Her name, trending, right next to a naked photo of herself she'd taken years ago. And here's the crazy part. She was not alone, not by a long shot. This was a massive, coordinated attack that leaked the private photos of over 100 celebrities to the entire world.
So, how in the world did this happen? We're going to break down the immediate, absolutely shocking impact of this leak, but from the perspective of the people who were right in the middle of the storm.
I mean, just read this quote from Jennifer Lawrence. It says it all. She told Vanity Fair that this wasn't just a privacy breach. She called it a sex crime. That feeling of the entire world staring, judging, and knowing that this digital violation would just never, ever go away, it's chilling. What's just insane when you look at this timeline is the speed. I mean, the sheer speed of it all. It starts with one little post on some obscure forum. Less than 3 hours later, the entire collection is just dumped on 4chan for free. A few hours after that, the now infamous subreddit is up and it's going viral. This thing moved faster than anyone could possibly control. And in less than 2 days, the FBI was launching a top priority cyber investigation. And the scale of it all was just staggering. We're talking about over 100 celebrities. Big names, like Kate Upton and Scarlett Johansson. All of them suddenly realizing that their most intimate, private moments were now essentially public property, being downloaded millions of times and spreading to every single corner of the internet. But here it is. This is the central and kind of horrifying truth of this whole story. The people who caused all this global chaos, all this trauma, they weren't some sophisticated ring of cyber criminals. No, they were 5 ordinary guys, amateurs really, who used surprisingly simple methods to pull off one of the biggest hacks in history. So in this next part, let's dissect exactly how these so-called nobodies managed to just waltz past Apple's security and get their hands on the private data of Hollywood's biggest stars. You'd think their method was super complex, right? Like something out of a movie? Nope. It really boiled down to this pretty simple 3-step process. First, they'd lure people in with fake emails. Second, they used a simple program to just guess passwords over and over and over. And third, for the final master key, they just use Google. That's it. So that first step was phishing. One of the hackers, Ryan Collins, literally sat in his basement and copied Apple's password reset page, pixel for pixel. He just changed one single line of code so that when a celebrity typed in their password, boom, it was sent straight to his personal Gmail account. He was even clever enough to time his emails to go out during real security scares, making his targets way more likely to click. But the real key, the thing that blew this whole thing wide open, was a massive vulnerability in Apple's own system. See, an API for the Find My iPhone feature had this one fatal flaw. It allowed unlimited password guesses. No alerts, no account lockouts, nothing. So the hackers just ran a simple script that could try thousands of common passwords every single second until it got a hit. And the passwords themselves, oh man, they show you just how easy this was. Jennifer Lawrence's password was Nashville 2011. That's the city and year she filmed The Hunger Games. The script cracked it in less than a minute. Rihanna's was her home country and birth year. Avril Lavigne's, the title of her most famous song. It was all public information, stuff you could find on Wikipedia. So once they had the password, they found another brilliant little loophole. Instead of just logging in normally, which, would have triggered an alert, they used iTunes to restore from an iCloud backup. This let them download a victim's entire phone, every photo, every video, every contact, without sending a single security notification to the actual owner. It was pretty much the perfect digital heist. Okay, so the hackers have this treasure trove of stolen photos. But how did it go from their own private collection to a global, completely uncontrollable viral event? Well, this is where the story takes its next really dark turn. It all kicked off with this now infamous 12-word post. A user who called himself Original Guy shows up on an anonymous forum, trying to sell the photos for Bitcoin. He posted a censored sample, and just like that, the bidding war began. But that whole business model, it collapsed almost immediately. Someone, and it was probably Original Guy himself, just dumped the entire collection for free on 4chan. And from there, it just exploded. The main subreddit that was dedicated to the leak generated 7.2 terabytes of traffic in its first day. To put that in perspective for you, that is more data than Wikipedia transfers in an entire week. And this is the moment everything escalated. It went from a massive, disgusting invasion of privacy to something way, way more serious. Lawyers for the actress Michaela Moran sent a notice to Reddit. Some of the leaked photos were of her when she was only 17. All of a sudden, anyone downloading or sharing those specific images was committing a federal felony. The leak had become a child pornography distribution network with hundreds of thousands of participants.
So now, with federal crimes in play, the FBI launches Operation Fappening. Let's take a look at how they managed to track down these amateur hackers who were so sure they were completely anonymous.
The hackers got caught because their mistakes were, honestly, incredibly simple. One guy used a proxy to register his fake domain, but then forgot to use a VPN when he was downloading the files, leaving his real home IP address all over Apple's server logs. Another one paid for his phishing websites with his own personal PayPal account. I mean, come on. A third screenshotted his stolen photos and accidentally embedded his Windows username right there in the file's metadata. Just rookie mistakes. And when the FBI finally came knocking, the motive behind this massive, world-changing crime was just shockingly mundane. One of the main guys, Ryan Collins, told the agents, "I just wanted to see them naked, like everyone else." That was it. That simple and that chilling. So, the hackers went to prison, but the damage was already done. This event left a permanent scar, and it changed not just the lives of the victims, but the entire landscape of technology and the law.
Immediately after the leak, Apple, while publicly denying that their systems were ever breached, quietly rolled out a massive set of security updates. The very same vulnerabilities the hackers used, like the unlimited password attempts, were patched. They introduced mandatory two-factor authentication, email alerts for backup downloads. They called them routine security enhancements, but we all know it was a direct response to this crisis.
And the wider legal impact was immense. Before 2014, only 3 states even had laws against so-called revenge porn. By 2019, 46 states had criminalized it. Platforms like Reddit and Twitter, which used to have this broad legal immunity, were now being held responsible for hosting this stuff, which forced them to develop automated tools to block the images from ever being re-uploaded. But for the victims, the cost was just immeasurable. For just 37 of them, the therapy bills alone totaled over $3.7 million. 4 victims attempted suicide in the year that followed the leak. The psychological trauma was severe, and for many of them, it's permanent.
Ultimately, the celebrity hack wasn't just some isolated incident. In so many ways, it was a terrifying preview of the new era of digital vulnerability that we all live in now. It was a warning sign, really, for the massive breaches that would follow at places like Yahoo, Equifax, and Facebook, affecting literally billions of people. The event we now call the Fappening was carried out by 5 amateurs who made simple mistakes and, well, they got caught. And that leaves us with a final, really chilling question. How many professional hackers, the ones who don't make those simple mistakes, are out there right now? And what have they stolen that we don't even know is missing yet?